Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. A pleasant day to each and everyone. So, let us continue our discussion last meeting, no? So, we ended our discussion on hypophosphatemia. So, for this lecture video, I will provide a discussion on the remaining three electrolyte imbalances, namely the hyperphosphatemia, hypochloremia, and hyperchloremia. Okay, now, when we talk about your hyperphosphatemia, meaning it is the increase of serum level ng ating phosphate. So again, review, phosphorus is mainly used sa ating or needed for our body for ATP production, no? So siya po yung pinakamalaking reason bakit nagkakaroon ng energy metabolism, because of the ATP or your adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so this is the intracellular na anion. Partner sila ni potassium. Okay, so dito po sa hyperphosphatemia, ang ating phosphorus ay umabot ng more than 4.5 mg per deciliter. Now, the different causes ng ating hyperphosphatemia is first, syempre, with the acute or chronic kidney disease. Again, pag po mga hyper na mga electrolyte imbalances, mainly po, ang main reason is yung ating kidney problem. Kasi remember, 'di ba, yung ating fluid and electrolytes is usually excreted and controlled by the kidneys. Now, if ever hindi na mai-function ng kidneys yung kanilang filtration process, definitely magkukulang tayo ng ability or malalesen yung ability ng ating body to excrete mga wastes, no? So we have also your hypoparathyroidism. So go back tayo sa relationship ng ating calcium and phosphorus, 'di ba? This is inversely proportional. So in which pag yung si calcium, yung parathyroid hormone, pag release to sa body sa ating bloodstream, it increases the level of blood calcium while pinapababa niya yung absorption, at the same time pinapa-increase na yung excretion ng ating phosphate level or phosphorus, no? So we have excess vitamin D. Okay, we have your tumor lysis syndrome. So dito po sa problem na ito, yung ating mga tumor or yung mga tumor cells natin ay pumuputok or nagba-burst out, in which nare-release yung nasa loob ng ating cell, which is kasama na po dito yung ating phosphate. We have your rhabdomyolysis, or from the word myo means muscles. So dito po sa atin, ang problem is yung mga muscle cells natin nagkakaroon na po ng what do you call this, nabe-breakdown na po yung mga muscle cells natin. So again, intracellular po kasi si phosphate. So once mag-broken down na po yung ating mga muscle cells, then the phosphate will be released into the ECF or your bloodstream. Now we have your laxative containing phosphates and high phosphate intake and even low calcium. Sabi nga natin, di ba, calcium and phosphorus are inversely proportional. Meaning, kung meron po tayong hypocalcemia, maaaring mag-cause ng hyperphosphatemia. While din yung vice versa, pag po meron tayong hypercalcemia, nagkakaroon din po tayo ng hypophosphatemia. Now, what are the clinical manifestation? Now, usually po yung mga signs and symptoms ng ating hyperphosphatemia, it is usually linked with hypocalcemia. So, lumalabas po siya mababa po yung kanyang calcium. That's why yung mga signs and symptoms po ng hyperphosphatemia is medyo related po sa hypocalcemia, in which yung ating muscle cramps, tetany, tingling sensations, or yung ating paresthesia. Yan po yung positive trophostics and trousseau signs. And then soft tissue calcification, which is a late sign na po siya, especially po pag nasa severe na po siya, in which pag sabihin na po natin soft tissue calcification, meaning nag-harden, no? Nag-mineralize na po yung mga soft tissues natin, in which pag ganun po yung mangyayari, so let's say, example lang natin, yung mga kidneys, yung ating heart, tumigas na yan siya, definitely yung mga muscles just hindi na po maganda yung kanyang contraction, and seizures in severe cases. Now, Here are the level of severity. So, pag mild po, nasa 4 to 6, 4.6 to 6. We have your moderate, 6 to 10. And pag severe na po siya, pag more than 10. So, usually po, pag sa moderate level na po, dito na po nagsastart yung ating hypocalcemia symptoms, no? So, whereas pag severe na po, dito na po nagkakaroon ng tetany, seizure, soft tissue, calcification. So, actually, ang pinaka-problem dyan, malaking pinag-iingatan natin is, ma-prevent talaga natin, is yung calcification ng mga soft tissues natin. Kasi pag mag-lead na po doon, mahihirapan po talaga yung body natin, or especially yung mga organs natin to do their job. No? Especially kasi sabi nga natin, our organs is made of smooth muscles and tissues. Now, what are the medical management? So, paulit-ulit po, ang number one management sa lahat po ng electrolyte imbalances, fluid imbalances, and acid-base imbalances is to treat the underlying cause. No? Manage CKD kung yun ang cause niya, or treat hypocalcemia if meron na pong hypocalcemia yung patient. So, we have to give phosphate binders. So, again, pag po nagbibigay po tayo ng phosphate binders, it should be taken with meals. Meaning, pag kumakain po yung patient, while kumakain, pwede niyang i-take and then continue eating yung ating patient. So, calcium, we have calcium acetate, calcium carbonate, we have your sevelamer, and aluminum hydroxide. Pero take note, si aluminum hydroxide is good for short term only. The rest, pwede naman siya for long term. Pero again, hindi pwedeng for long term din yung mga kasi pag po nagbibigay, remember, we have your calcium acetate, calcium carbonate, it has calcium. Ang magiging problem naman, pag too much naman din yung pagtitreat natin dyan, or paggagamit natin dyan, pwede naman mabaliktad, no? Magkaroon ng hypercalcemia. We have also dietary phosphate restrictions, such as i-avoid po yung mga dairy products, nuts and cola drinks, and organ meats, and even processed foods. So, if the problem is CKD, so mag-undergo ng dialysis yung patient. So again, there are two types of dialysis, the peritoneal and hemodialysis. Okay? So depende lang yan siya. But very common po sa atin, at siguro mas lower yung cases po natin with any complications is usually mas preferred natin yung hemodialysis, no? So we have your nursing management. So again, monitor the phosphate and calcium. Assess for any for tetany and seizures. Always administer phosphate binders with meals, and teach the patient on how to lessen the phosphate, no, sa ating diet. Avoid phosphate containing laxatives such as yung mga fleet enemas. So enemas actually is used to parang mag-stimulate na elimination process, at the same time cleansing. So ang daming klase po ng enema, no? We have cleansing enema, fleet enemas. So depende yan sa kung anong use niya, iba din yung kanyang purpose. And then prepare patient for possible dialysis. Now, we have here the memory aid for your hyperphosphatemia. Just remember high. Phosphosoda overuse, or mga phosphate-containing laxative or enemas, hypoparathyroidism, overuse of vitamin D, syndrome of tumor lysis, rhabdomyolysis, and insufficiency of kidneys or renal failure. For your signs and symptoms, just remember cramps, no? Confusion, hyperreflexia, or yung ating reflexes are hyperactive, anorexia, muscle cramps or muscle spasms, especially po sa ating calves and feet, tetany, seizures, positive Trosu sign, and Chavostic sign, and then we have your pruritus. Okay, so now let's proceed to the last electrolyte, no? That is part in this fluid and electrolyte subject. We have your chloride, or also known as your chlorine. No? So if you're familiar with chlorine na nayu-use po sa ating mga swimming pools, pampalinis, yung mga pampalinis po ng ating mga tiles sa banyo, no? Anything na we wish to be whitened, no, ng mga areas. And then ito po are you familiar with the HCl, or chloric acid? So it is stomach acid, no, na nagkakos po ng increased acidity sa ating stomach. lining. Okay? So, the normal value po is we have your 95 to 105. Pero din po yung, ito kasi yung 95 to 105, I think ito po yung binigay ko sa inyo. Pero, meron din mga books po na nagsasabing 98 to 106 milliequivalent per liter. Now, what are the functions of your chloride? So, it maintains acid-base balance. So, dito po sa acid-base balance, they act as a form of acid, no? Kung si bicarbonate, they form as base. Si hydrochloride or your chloride acts as if as acid siya. So pag may so kasama din po siya sa nagbabuffer pag po may konting imbalances, no? Helps form the hydrochloric acid and the stomach. So it maintains osmotic pressure with your sodium. So remember po natin si chloride is partner po siya and it is directly proportional with sodium. So partner po sila. So pag bumababa si sodium, maaari pong bumaba si chloride kasi si chloride po ang extracellular anion po while your sodium is the extracellular cation. It maintains electrical neutrality and helps regulate fluid balance. Why? Kasi because it combines with sodium, thus it attracts water. No? So, yung relationship po na ating, yung pag-increase po ng chloride natin is somewhat may affectation siya or nire-relate natin siya sa fluid balance. So, if mababa yung ating fluid, may tendency na either tumaas siya, okay? Pag naman masyadong mataas, pwedeng bumaba siya because diluted siya. So, the same lang po sa mga na-mention natin. If you can still remember po sa hyponatremia, the same din po sila somewhat na mga signs and symptoms and then yung mga causes. So, let's go to your hypochloremia. So, a low serum chloride which is below 95 or below 98 milliequivalent per liter. So, what are the common causes? So, we have your GI losses such as vomiting, NG suction. We have also your renal losses such as your diuretics. Pwede rin po yung ating chronic respiratory acidosis. So again, ano po yung problema sa chronic respiratory acidosis? Meaning po nito, ang problem dito is yung ating carbonic acid is masyadong mataas compare naman po sa ating bicarbonate na mababa lang. So ang nangyari is pag ganito po, kaya po siya nagkakos ng hypochloremia because of the compensation. Kasi syempre, acidic na yung ating blood pH. Now, anong gagawin ni chloride? Kasi si chloride, nag-act po siya as a acid. So, syempre, papasok siya sa ating cell para hindi further mag-increase yung pagiging acid ng ating blood. Kaya, bumababa yung ating chloride. And now, we have your metabolic alkalosis in which dito po sa metabolic alkalosis, i-compare natin yung bicarbonate at saka yung hydrochloric acid, mas mataas si bicarbonate kaysa sa hydrochloric acid. So, ang nangyayari, the same process, no? Pag po nagkaroon ng metabolic alkalosis dahil mataas si bicarbonate, okay, so nagpo-form tayo ng hydrochloric acid para mas further increase yung acidity level ng ating blood pH. We have your SIAD or syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. We have your overhydration and heart failure. So these three actually, your SIAD, overhydration, and heart failure, pag po meron namang increase in fluid. So as you can see, diba, sa ating vomiting and G-suction diuretics, yan pong tatlo is more on fluid loss. While your SIAD, overhydration, and heart failure, pag increased yung fluid. So, given po na meaning dito is mababa man yung tubig, sa masyadong malaki yung tubig, the same po, pwede pong mag-cause ng hypochloremia. So, what are the clinical manifestations? So, again, sabi ko nga, kaya ko sinasabi na yung hypochloremia is medyo the same sa hyponatremia kasi po yung ating mga signs and symptoms, they often appear with hyponatremia or pwede din po pag nagkaroon ng alkalosis, no? So, we have your muscle cramps, tetany, hyperactive reflexes, shallow and slow breathing, kasi ito po ay compensatory, no, ng ating, lalo na po pag metabolic yung problem. So, as a compensation ng ating lungs or yung respiratory system natin, nagkakaroon po ng shallow or ventilation. Okay. And then we have your hypokalemia. Bakit po? No, sabi niyo, ma'am, bakit po? Kasi hypokalemia. Si hypokalemia is bakit po siya affected po pag parang nagkakaroon pag mababa yung ating chloride. Kasi pag po sa, di ba, are familiar with potassium sodium pump, di ba? So, kasama po kasi ng in and out po yung ating chloride pag po gano'n na nagkakaroon ng imbalance. So, syempre, pag po nagkaroon ng imbalance, no, hypochloremia, so, anong ginagawa ng ating potassium sa extracellular? So, syempre, magsishift sila papunta sa loob ng cell to balance yung pagkakababa nung ating chloride sa ECF, no? So bumababa si yung ating potassium sa blood na pupunta sa ating cell. And then we have your seizures or pag po severe na po yung ating problem. Now, we have here the level of severity. Again, pag mild, nasa 95 to 98. Moderate, 85 to 95. And pag severe na po, pag less than 85. So, dito po sa moderate, dito na po nagkakaroon ng signs and symptoms such as muscle excitability. And pag po severe na po, nagkakaroon ng tetany, seizures, and alkalosis. So, ito po siya, Haggenam. I think if maalala nyo pa po yung sinabi ko sa sodium imbalances, they're not, bakit po nagkakaroon ng neuromuscular imbalances? Because dito po, not really directed on the neurotransmission na cause niya, but because of the water or fluid balance within the cell. Now, remember po, ang ating cell, kailangan po natin ng enough fluid, enough electrolytes. Pag po nagkakaroon ng imbalances, syempre, may fluid shifting in and out of the cell. Now, what happens po pag nagkaroon ng fluid shifting? So, instead, nasa loob yung ating tubig, lumabas. So, nagsishrink yung ating nagsishrink yung ating cell. So, pag nagkaroon ng cellular dehydration, so doon lumalabas yung mga neuromuscular symptoms natin. No? So, importante po talaga kasi yung ating fluid balance. Okay? So, medical management, correct chloride deficits. Usually, yung ginagamit natin is your IV normal saline or yung ating 0.9 NaCl, yung tinatawag natin plain normal saline solution. So, this is usually most common. Pero, pag mild lang po yung ating hypochloremia, we can use the 0.45 na normal saline because this is a hypotonic. Si IV normal saline or PNSS ninyo is isotonic. So, replace potassium chloride if po hypokalemia is present. So, we can give naman po na pwede tayong magbigay ng potassium chloride pag po, so instead of, example lang natin, diba, normal saline is composed of your sodium chloride, diba? Sodium at saka chloride. So, if meron pong hypokalemia din na signs and symptoms yung ating patient, we can replace it with potassium chloride. But again, diba, sabi nga natin, your potassium chloride should not be given through IV push but rather IV infusion, no? So we have stop chloride losing medications such as yung loop diuretics and thiazide because nakaka-increase po sila or nagfa-facilitate po sila ng pag-excrete ng chloride. Treat cause such as controlling the vomiting, reduce NG suction kung yun ang main reason, and kung ang problem was acid-base imbalance, so correct the acid-base imbalance. Now, for nursing management, monitor serum chloride, your sodium and potassium, and also your ABG analysis. Watch for any signs of alkalosis such as hypoventilation, hyperreflexia, and we have your tetany. Now, for your IV fluid therapy, again, administer normal saline. Pero pag mild po siya, we can give your hypotonic na 0.45%. So, by always remember na regulate properly yung ating IV fluid, no? Monitor for any fluid overload. Especially po sa mga patient natin with heart failure, may renal diseases, be careful po in giving kasi sabi natin, ma'am, wala naman pong harm kasi isotonic po yung solution natin. Even so, no? Kasi yung mga patient po natin na nagkakaroon po ng fluid congestion, lalo na po sa heart failure and renal diseases kasi hindi na po maganda yung excretion process nila. So, kaunting bigay lang yan ng isotonic, pwede pong mag-cause ng edema and fluid overload. Okay? Dietary management may include increased chloride intake. So usually, ang pinakamalaking nakukuhaan actually ng chloride is your table salts. Pwede rin po yung tomatoes, processed meats, and yung mga broths or yung sabaw ng mga pagkain na syempre pag po usually kasi pag sabaw andun lahat yung seasoning, 'di ba? So andun din yung yung salt, okay? And then teaching proper hydration and avoid excessive vomiting or overuse of diuretics. Now we have here your mnemonics, so just remember your DTT. Signs and symptoms, no? We have dehydration, tetany, and tremors. I think makikita nyo to na mga signs and symptoms sa hyponatremia. So other signs and symptoms may include weakness, fatigue, muscle pain, dyspnea or yung tinatawag nating shortness of breath, low blood pressure, and a fast heart rate. Now, the causes, just remember the FMFO, fluid loss, medications, fluid management, and other factors. So we have frequent or severe vomiting, diarrhea, or prolonged sweating. So, may mga patient po natin diaphoretic, pwede rin po no, na maka-experience ng hypochloremia. We have your diuretics, nasogastric suction, and then we have your fever, a high sodium diet, or certain heart conditions that can be a factor. Now, let's proceed to the last electrolyte imbalance, the hyperchloremia. Pag naman po tumaas yung ating blood chloride. Okay, so again, it is more than 105 or 106 milliequivalent per liter. So what are the causes of your hyperchloremia? Next, first we have your dehydration. We have your excess saline infusion, no? So, pag po ang binigay is NS or LR. So, ito, I think na-mention ko na to sa inyo, no? Kaya po tayo nagre-regulate ng IV ng patient. Akala po natin, iniisip natin, ay wala masyadong impact siya, no? So, still po ngayon, you learn na meron pong malaking impact po yung pag-regulate ng IV. Hindi dahil kailangan mabilis, gusto natin mabilis, magsusupplement tayo para mabilis kumaling yung patient, hindi po, no? We have to take into consider kung ano po yung case ng patient. Kung yung patient ba ay nangangailangan ng mabilisang fluid replacement or hindi, and then kung anong type of fluid na angkop para sa kanila. So, I hope hindi nyo yun nakalimutan. The hypertonic, hypotonic, and isotonic. So, every now and then, when you have your duties, closely monitor the IV of your patient. Pag hindi nag-flow, pag sobra yung, or mabilis masyado yung pag-flow, kindly regulate properly according to the doctor's order. So we have your metabolic acidosis due to hydrochloric retention. We have your kidney failure, hyperparathyroidism. We have your respiratory alkalosis or drugs such as acetazolamide. Pwede po siyang mag-increase ng chloride. So what are the clinical manifestations? So usually, it is related to metabolic acidosis. So yung mga signs and symptoms po na makikita nyo po, if you can still remember po sa ating metabolic acidosis, you can scan your notes about it. And yung mga signs and symptoms po nun is usually lumalabas po sa hyperchloremia. Bakit po? Kasi syempre tumaas po yung ating hydrochloric acid. Now what happens? Bumaba si bicarbonate. Kaya nagkaroon ng metabolic acidosis. So we have your deep rapid breathing, which is the Cosmos respiration. This is the compensatory ventilation po. No, we have your weakness, lethargy, decreased level of consciousness, hypertension, tachycardia, and edema. So, ito po ang tachycardia, hypertension, and edema. Somewhat nakikita nyo rin po dito yung signs and symptoms ng hypernatremia or your fluid overload. No? So, we have your Severity, so mild pag 107 to 110, moderate pag 110 to 120, and then pag severe na po, more than 120. So usually po yung acidosis symptoms natin, nagsa-start po silang magsilabasan pag nasa moderate level na po yung ating level of severity. And then pag po nagkaroon ng severe, dito na po nagkakaroon ng significant dehydration and arrhythmias, no? Bakit po? In relation to fluid, because your sodium and chloride expands the fluid in the extracellular compartment. So, pag po nasobrahan, pag po nagkulangan, merong changes with fluid. Now, ano pong mayayari if ever pag sobra yung chloride natin? So, maaari pong mag-increase yung ating, tubig sa ating ECF. So, pwede pong masyadong increase yung compensation ng ating heart, no? Laging pump ng pump, that may lead to hindi na maganda yung kanyang pag-contract, kaya lumalabas yung mga arrhythmias or absence of rhythm. Okay, so medical management, we have your treat cause, give hypotonic fluids, no? Kung si hypochloremia, ang gusto natin, preferred natin is normal saline. Dito po sa hyperchloremia, pwede po tayong magbigay, pero as much as possible, mga hypotonic, no? So you have your 0.45 normal saline or yung ating D5 water. But take note ha, I've mentioned this one, yung mga IV fluid po natin na may dextrose 5%, careful po tayo sa mga patient na mga diabetic kasi it further increases the glucose level of your patient. Now, we have your sodium bicarbonate po. Pwede tayo mabigay ng sodium bicarbonate if kaya ang reason bakit nagkaroon ng hyperchloremia is due to metabolic acidosis, then we can give sodium bicarbonate and diuretics to encourage chloride excretion. But again, always remember this one yung ating diuretic therapy sa mga hyper na problem, kahit ano pa yan na electrolyte, basta hyper meaning sobra, pwede po tayo mag-diuretic therapy if hindi po ang main reason kaya nagkaroon ng hyper na mga problem yung patient is due to kidney problem. Kasi po, kung magda-diuretic ka din and then may problem sa kidney, wala pa ring excretion. Yes, pinapa-increase mo yung filtration rate ng kidney mo, pero hindi rin maganda yung diuresis. So, nonsense po yung pagbigay. It further increases na lang yung problem. Mas nagkakaroon ng retention kasi nga, hindi maganda yung elimination. So, you have to really, really check on the renal failure, renal function. So, paano po ba ma-check? Siyempre, monitor INO, especially po yung output ng ating patient, and siyempre, monitor weight. Kasi remember po, yung ating weight is isa po sa magbibigay din po na parang mas accurate po na findings na yung patient po natin, it's either nagre-retain ng fluid or nag-excrete ng fluid. Okay? So, for nursing management, monitor your chloride, your sodium, potassium, and ABG. Watch for any acidosis such as Cosmos breathing, we have your decreased LOC and hypotension. So avoid just IV fluids, avoid normal saline. So as much as possible po, do not use isotonic, you give hypotonic solution, no? As ordered. Maintain hydration, encourage water intake, and monitor INO. But then again, if ang cause po is dehydration, maintain hydration. Pero pag ang cause naman po ng pag-i-increase ng hyperchloremia is due to increase of fluid, hindi na po tayo masyadong magbibigay ng hydration. So, dapat alamin din natin ano yung related factor. And then, teaching the patient to avoid excess salty foods and limit mga processed foods or yung mga alam natin na rich in chloride, such as yung ating table salts, avoid po natin yan. So, we have your mnemonics. So, the same po siya sa ating hypernatremia. So, signs and symptoms, avoid fried foods. Fried, fatigue, restlessness, increased reflexes and respiration, extreme thirst, and decreased urinary output, and dry mouth. Other signs and symptoms may include weakness, lethargy, confusion, sometimes cosmos, respiration. So, ating causes, just remember DART with an H. So dehydration, acid-base imbalance such as your metabolic acidosis, hormonal issues. Pag po meron tayong hyperparathyroidism, it may also cause hyperchloremia. We have your respiratory alkalosis. So hyperventilating can also cause the chloride to increase, and trauma. So, sabi nyo, ma'am, bakit po ganun nag-i-increase po sa ating, nag-i-increase po yung ating chloride? Kasi remember po, di ba, sa respiratory alkalosis, meaning masyadong base, mababa yung ating carbonic acid. Now, to compensate yung ating kidneys, they excrete bicarbonate. And then yung ating body, yung ating GI, na tumutulong din po to sa pag-increase ng metabolic acids natin. So in which kasama dito yung ating hydrochloric acid. So nag-i-increase yung ating chloride level. And trauma, head injury can sometimes be a cause, no? So, kasama din po dito ay kung yung burn. Again, yung ating burn po, kahit ano pong problem, mapa-fluid po yan. Fluid imbalances, acid-base imbalances, and electrolyte imbalances, pwede pong mangyari yan dyan sa ating burn. Kasi po sa burn, nasira na po, or lalo na po pag second degree or third degree, nasira na po yung skin natin, na-expose na po yung ating mga muscle cells, and then yung pwede maaari yung mga bones. So pag ganun po, syempre more prone na po or nawawala na po ng permeability yung ating cell, kaya labas-pasok na lang yung mga fluid, yung mga acids, and yung mga electrolytes natin sa ating cells. So, okay. So, I think that's all. So, I hope may naintindihan tayo. So, we can further discuss naman itong na-discuss ko na to during your presentation of your pathophysiology tracing. So again, thank you for watching, and wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.